Okay, everybody, welcome to another episode of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff. We have another awesome update for you from the BOLDR Supply Company brand. Now, a little bit about them. They're based out of Singapore and Malaysia. They manufacture watches and watch gear that's super tough, stylish, yet functional, and always ready for adventure. Now, this particular type of watch I consider an everyday adventure watch. Some key common characteristics and design language of a watch that you can take on your everyday adventure. You're just really going to want something that's sporty, legible, and of course, ultimately tough. Now, this particular model is your Expedition Everest, which is the blue dial, and it's named after the world famous Mount Everest to symbolize conquering your personal Everest. And these actually go for $5.99 on rubber, or for an extra $99, you can actually get these now on your stainless steel bracelet. So I was really excited about that. So really, this is a bit of a follow-up and a revisiting of this really cool model, and now having it on the bracelet option. So with all that said, let's go ahead, zoom out the camera, get this piece in hand, and take a closer look. Okay, guys. As much as I loved this watch before, on the rubber strap, on canvas, on Barton bands, silicone strap, this thing absolutely sings on the bracelet. And it's not just because it's any old bracelet, but this thing is just super well matched to this excellent angular case. And I mean, although this is a flat finish, it is far from a dull watch, even though it's a dull finish ultimately, right? You do have that matte blasted case, and those angular lines in the way that the light actually catches on here, again, is now carried over. As you can see from before, when you look at this case, you take a look at it at a couple different angles, and there's actually just kind of different facets, different flavors, different colors as it catches the light. That's actually carried on perfectly through this new bracelet. Look at that, the way it's catching the light. Those angles are just catching all that goodness, and man, it does it all. And you guys might remember I recently went over the new Venture bracelet. This one, although the same price, is a bit it's just another couple notches up. It's in a whole different league, and a lot of it is because ultimately this watch is in a whole different league, guys. This thing is epic. Now, a little bit about the watch, because some of you might be just tuning in for the first time. This is a 41 millimeter watch in diameter with a 14 millimeter height and a 46 millimeter lug to lug. It is of course made out of 316L stainless steel. And it also offers protection from magnetic fields up to 20,000 amperes per meter, or 250 Gauss, which is pretty darn nice. So as you take a look at the case back there, really cool kind of manhole slash, I guess, puzzle-ish maze motif there with the little boot footprint. It's fun to look at, and it's nice because you actually, again, now you're getting a couple of other different finishes in there. Quite nice. Also, for those of you that were wondering, you also get this great screw down crown, which controls the inner rotating bezel, which is actually unidirectional. I'm sorry, bidirectional, because it can go both ways. Also, you have a screw down crown, which is here at the 4 o'clock, which aligns perfectly with that date there. Inside, you're going to get also, it's a signed crown. Even the bezel crown actually is signed as well, just in a different way, and I really dig that. The orange on here is just a perfect color and pops absolutely perfectly with this whole color scheme. I love the color play on this one, and it really just having the on the metal bracelet, it just balances out this dial so much. Really digging that. Now, underneath this excellent little case back there, you're actually going to get your Swiss Solida automatic SW200-1, which is quite good. And honestly, for the money, right? If I didn't mention that, oh yeah, I did. $5.99, and then of course you can get this little add-on. So let's just say out the door, it's closer to something like $6.98. Was that how much it would come out to? Correct my math if I'm wrong on that. So under $700 essentially, you can have something quite special and really competitive when you look at the rest of the market. When you look at this beautiful dial here, it has a great matte color to it. Great choice of blue there. I'm really digging it. Not quite too bright. Definitely not a dull blue at that, but it's a very true blue, which I think is really great. Everything's printed. You think about the indices, you think about the hands. You do have that nicely done date, which also has the nice frame around it there, so you know where it is, but it's not obtrusive to the dial at all. So really digging that. And then of course you are getting a Swiss Super Luminova BGW9 and C3. So you're going to get bicolored lume here. When you get this thing in the dark, you're going to see it is quite an awesome light show that is going to happen there. Also, it has 200 meters of water resistance with 20 ATM. So 20 atmospheres of pressure this thing is going to be able to take, which is outstanding. It has a 20 millimeter lug width. And then you're going to see on this bracelet here, although you do get the kind of tank tread textured rubber strap that is non-tapering, here you're actually going to, when you add on the bracelet, you're going to get a nice little slight taper to this beautiful stainless steel bracelet. Also, of course, it has that fully matching matte blasted finish. It goes from 20 millimeters down to 18. It has a fully articulated 3-link setup there, as you can see. So it's not one of those ones where they're 3 links just all smushed together. They actually are articulating, which is a really nice something to see here. You also get, check that out guys, screw in connecting pins. How many people love that? It seems to be really the default ask, and Warner Watch doesn't have that. Somebody in the comments has to say something. So guess what? You don't have anything to say anymore. Besides maybe thank you. Then you get over to this clasp, guys. Bam. Okay, maybe it's not doing anything special, sexy, or new, but what it does do is it carries on just the standard of excellence here. Everything that it does do, it does really well. It's not doing any fringe gimmick or anything like that. It's a nice push button flip lock, fully milled, and then you also do have all of these micro adjusts, so you can completely dial in this to wear on your wrist just about perfectly. So whether it's going to be a little bit tighter or a little bit looser based off of the heat in the day or the cold of the season, you're pretty much covered. So with all that said, guys, let's actually get this piece on wrist to see how it wears. Oh yeah, look at that. On my 7¼ inch wrist, this thing wears absolutely beautifully. No, it is not a small, petite, or modestly sized watch in any way, shape, or form. And as I bring it up close here, of course, typically with a little bit of lens distortion, it's going to look quite large, but a little bit more arm in the picture, you get an idea of how this is going to actually wear. It's big. It's bold, but man, does it wear its weight well. And that's one thing I have to say, guys. In the pictures, these watches look quite large, and it's because they're a bit bolder. They're quite bold in design, but the design language is definitely very clear and really instantly legible, which I can dig. And the design aesthetic is something all of their own. I love the angular finish. I love the way the angular body is finished and the way it all kind of ties together here. As you can see, I roll my wrist and the light, there are some spots where you're getting flats, where you're getting some other colors kind of baked in, and all these other facets, and I'm digging it. It's just a certain magic that it has. And of course, the nice thing is it doesn't look like anything else on the market. It looks like, you know, maybe another boulder. But other than that, it looks outstanding. Look at that thing. Man, I love how fun it is. I love the color play. And honestly, having the bracelet on there just adds to the color play, and not necessarily to the blue color or the orange, but the just multi-level of silver and gray and deep dark colors and high highlights that it adds is really, really nice. And look at that. It does not wear super huge. It's not like it's going to be something you're going to have tons of trouble getting underneath a cuff or anything like that. Although I think stylistically, this is something you definitely will want to wear on a more casual occasion. The actual footprint is quite tailored. And then because it has a smaller dial due to the inner rotating bezel, it actually wears a lot smaller. When you have this piece in hand and in the metal, you might actually be thinking, man, this is a lot smaller than it looks, just because of the design makes it seem a bit large when you see it kind of in a picture or in video. But let's actually go ahead and set up for low light transition, Lume shots, and some closing thoughts. Okay, we'll go ahead and hit the lights here. As you can see, the Lume is absolutely outstanding. You do have, of course, great orientation on there, because the numerals are lit up, so you know where 12 o'clock is, you know where 6 o'clock is, so on and so forth. Also, that inner rotating bezel there is loomed as well, so you can keep track of timing. So whether you're going to take this thing underwater at depth, or you're going to be up at a mountaintop and maybe on the darker face of a cliff, you can still get absolutely outstanding legibility. But one thing I like to do during these Lume shots is work in a little bit of a low light transition, and that's because you're not always going to spend your time out in the middle of a field, you know, enjoying direct sunlight. A lot of the times you're going to be in more transitional lighting, depending on if you're coming in and out of a building, in and out of a vehicle, or just walking underneath an overhang of some kind. You're going to want to know what this watch looks like in, you know, less than optimal lighting. And as you can see, as I glide the light over this piece, you're going to be able to see the way the light actually plays off of it. So you're going to get an idea of the dial and the way the colors are rendering, but you're also going to get an idea of the fit and the finish, and some of those just general textures that might be washed out by these hot studio lights. So as you can see, the blue is absolutely fantastic, quite beautiful. But even when I get down to some harsher high contrast lighting here, this is typically going to, you know, expose any types of imperfections. But of course, this beautifully done, finely bead blasted finish is quite even and quite uniform. So you can see the way the light actually plays and dances over the angles and links of that case. Really, really nice. Quite sharp still, and very nice kind of HD look, you know, when you look at something like this. So really, really great. And as you can see in the lower lighting, you can still get really amazing legibility. Everything from pretty well lit to you're looking at about half lume down to even darker into those depths. And of course, full blackout. This thing is looking outstanding. So really great from that standpoint. Let's go ahead and get the lights back on. All right, guys. Closing thoughts here. On the wrist, man, it feels like a purpose-built sports watch. While there's heft, yes, there's also clear care for wear ergonomics, which I can definitely appreciate. As far as model variants go, there's also 2 black case options and black dial options. So there's those, obviously very, very classic. The difference being one has a kind of high contrast accent, one with more low contrast kind of monotone accents, which is very, very cool. There are 4 dial options for the steel finished case, and basically you get this blue dial. There's also a black dial, a white dial with a black bezel, and now even a green dial option as well. Now, as far as comparable models go, guys, everything from your Seiko Alpinist to your Archimede Outdoor Anti-Mag 41, to even when you think about the Monta Triumph, up to a Rolex Explorer or Omega Railmaster, the fully loaded everyday adventure sports watch theme is really rising in popularity, to a level that was previously kind of preserved for the Rolex Submariner. But with those types of kind of field watch turned everyday watch formulas out there being quite popular, it's nice to see something within the space that's just so different and really so bold. And I can't help but really see this as a real class leader, because it just does so many things really, really well, and it's quite original, which is great. I mean, it's, you know, the twin crowns kind of compressor style. It's not something that's necessarily super unique, but it's the execution, the design aesthetic, just the design ethos really that make it stand out quite well. So here I'd consider the bottom line on the, you know, BOLDR Expedition, especially in this Everest trim on this great optional stainless steel bracelet. It's a modern tool watch that really embodies the spirit of, you know, of what an adventure watch really should be. It's tough, legible, and it really just kind of has it all. And you're not going to forget about this piece on the wrist. It has wrist presence, so it's fun and it's an enjoyable piece just aesthetically, but it also backs that up with quite a bit of function when you think about the level of water resistance, you know, even some anti-magnetic protection within there as well. You're getting an automatic movement, you know, and this thing is just pretty well sorted and really just an awesome offering. So really happy to revisit this particular model for you and this brand. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked the video, please do hit like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.